Run the likes up, run the likes up. So let's get into the news, right? The whole thing.
Sometimes in life, you got to be a hoe.
That's what Ryan Nemeth told the wrestling world here the other day. Is it comes out, that he accuses CM Punk of abuse and harassment during their time together in AEW. So there's myriad posts, myriad articles. I clipped out some of the quotes that I saw floating around the IWC that I thought were key. We head over here to the Takedown over here at SI, Sports Illustrated. Shout them out. And let's take a look at this article and read through it here, folks. CM Punk accused of assault and abuse in a lawsuit filed against himself, Tony Khan, and AEW. TNA wrestling star Ryan Nemeth is accusing CM Punk of abuse and harassment during their time together in AEW. Ryan Nemeth has now filed a lawsuit against CM Punk, Tony Khan, and AEW in LA Superior Court. The lawsuit obtained by Fightful and outlined below was filed back on February 14. It'll on Valentine's, no less. How could you be so heartless? How could you be so heartless? I don't have auto-tune. It alleges that Nemeth suffered abuse. Let me see, where am I? Suffered abuse, harassment, threats, and more during his time in All Elite Wrestling. Nemeth specifically mentions that Phil Brooks, aka CM Punk, undertook a campaign to terrorize and intimidate him, which included an alleged physical assault. He further insists that not only did Tony Khan and AEW turn a blind eye to the alleged abuse, but that Nemeth was punished for filing complaints against Brooks. So see, even people were being punished for filing complaints against CM Punk. Basically, if you file any complaint there, or you say anything's not great, you just get punished. So if Punk says not great, he gets punished. If you have a problem anywhere with anyone backstage, you just get punished. So it's a whole lot of... He goes as far as to accuse Tony Khan of blaming Nemeth for Brooks' eventual departure from AEW. So did Tony Khan blame him? You're the reason I feared for my life and had to fire CM Punk and protect Jack Perry, not the Young Bucks. Not because he beat the shit out of the Young Bucks and they have some executive order here because of my cup. The following is an unaltered timeline of events as presented in the lawsuit. At all relevant times mentioned herein, Brooks was also an employee of AEW, serving a role in executive leadership. Okay, so Punk worked there. So executive leadership, he had some EVP power too. Of course, we know that with Collision, right? And we know that Ryan Nemeth tweeted out literally the softest man alive or whatever. And then Punk pressed him backstage and was like, what's up? And then Nemeth before, if you guys remember, he accused AEW of like telling him to tweet that out. So we'll see as we go on. But in early 2023, Brooks assaulted and battered two fellow wrestlers known by the stage names Matt and Nick Jackson. Yes! It just confirms that Punk beat the shit out of both Young Bucks.
Be gone.
Love it, man. Brooks is known to have an uncontrollable temper, bro. Come on, man. And often lashes out in violent tirades against others. When's another time that that's happened? He shot a fair one with Teddy Hart, didn't he? Name another time he had a violent outburst where he punched the shit out of two guys who stormed in his locker room, man. Come on, dog. I'm not saying he didn't smack them all first, but thus, defendants were on notice regarding Brooks's violent proclivities. Rather than removing Brooks from the AEW roster of wrestlers, Tony Khan made the decision to merely suspend Brooks for a few months. Brooks is one of AEW's most popular wrestlers, and Khan did not feel that Brooks could be removed without a substantial loss in profit for AEW. Yeah, I love that. Like, if this is true, right? If this part's true, which... it's in court, man. So Tony's got to, swear on a Bible and say, no, I didn't think we'd lose profit. You know, he's obviously going to cop to this or whatever, however the legal proceedings go about. All I'm saying is that let's take Nemeth for his word here, or at least the findings or whatever, as the lawsuit lays it out. Tony Khan, was worried about what we were all saying. They can't afford to lose Punk, is what everyone was saying. Oh, no, they'll be okay. Dave Meltzer, oh, no, not really, Brian. Meanwhile... no, Tony's like, we can't afford to lose him and shit. But then he doesn't just fire the Bucks or Jack Perry. Like, if Jack Perry left, which he's been gone, be gone. no one would bat an eyelash, and that just proves our point as well. You know, like, you don't need a Jack Perry, you need a CM Punk. You it up. But anyways, further, Khan has a very deep personal affinity for Brooks. Khan made this conscious decision to keep Brooks as a part of AEW, although he knew that Brooks is prone to lashing out in violent episodes and to injure others. So who did he injure? Right, Punk, we know, got hurt, according to him, in the altercation backstage. He may have tore something then. We don't know for sure. But who else was he violent outburst on at this point? You have to remember, he got in a fight with the Bucks. The Jack Perry didn't go down yet. In hindsight now, Nemeth's trying to say, oh yeah, and he's known for this. Where? Name another time, bro. Name another time. That's crazy. Beyond his deep feelings for Brooks, Khan represented to AEW executives and wrestlers that the TBS network had produced the Collision show contingent upon Brooks' involvement as the show's star. Boom. That's why that show might go away. Punk hasn't been there for quite a while. This was all the more reason for Khan to keep Brooks in spite of his violent propensities. What violent propensities? They keep saying this. What are the violent propensities? During his suspension for unknown reasons, Brooks made it known that he despised Nemeth. Nemeth did nothing to Brooks whatsoever, so he didn't tweet out calling him the softest man alive. Brooks made it well known that he was angry with Nemeth. Brooks has a notorious history for taking violent action against others for no reason. That is just not true. On April 16, 2023, Nemeth contacted executives within AEW to tell his employer that he was worried Brooks would come back to the wrestling circuit following his suspension and assault Nemeth. He was scared. He was scared he was going to get G-checked. Oh, man. That is so funny, man. On June 21, 2023... Oh, sorry. No, we read it. Following his return to the wrestling circuit. No, here we are. He assaulted Nemeth in the male talent locker room in a menacing manner. Brooks shouted at Nemeth, "Do we have a problem? Do we need to step outside and handle this like men? That's not assault, brother. Don't be a bitch, dude." You know? Nemeth was cornered by Brooks and did everything he could in order to de-escalate the situation. Yeah, so don't call people soft, bro. That's all it was. Like, you should have told him, yeah, let's go outside, or you should have just said, all right. Or if you de-escalated it and you didn't get smacked around, then you successfully de-escalated it. No, nothing happened, right? You felt threatened. Okay. Maybe Punk felt threatened when you call him the softest man alive. That's all I'm saying. The next day, Nemeth was contacted by Tony Schiavone and Schiavone and other executives from AEW to explain what happened. Nemeth calmly and factually explained that he was attacked by Brooks in the locker room. You weren't attacked, bro. Following the assault, nothing. He keeps calling it an assault, bro. What a baby back bitch. Nothing happened to Brooks as far as punishment from AEW. It is well known in the wrestling industry that benching a wrestler is a form of punishment. That is, the wrestling performer is not scheduled for a match and thus not paid. Benching a wrestler is a customary manner of punishing a wrestler. Following the incident with Brooks, Nemeth greatly feared being benched by AEW. Nemeth spoke with AEW's in-house counsel and attorneys from Latham and Watkins, outside counsel for AEW. All of the attorneys promised that Nemeth would not be benched. Well, how can they promise that, bro? Oh, yeah, we promise you're going to get a push now, right, Tony Khan? No, dude, that's not how it works, and Tony benches everybody. Following his June 22 conversation with Tony Schiavone at AL, Nemeth was not booked for a match for over 2 months. Because Nemeth was not booked for matches, his income stream from AEW dried up. More importantly, his popularity, because he was on one of those per appearance deals that AEW have people on. Anyways, more importantly, his popularity and marketability faded. What popularity or marketability, dude? From being absent from the professional wrestling circuit. On June 17, 2023, Nemeth again contacted AEW's legal department to complain that he was being punished for doing nothing. It was then that Nemeth discovered the real reason why he was being benched. Brooks had insisted upon this because Tony Khan had such a deep admiration for Brooks, bordering on an obsession. Oh my God. Khan went along with, but then he fired CM Punk. So this whole argument falls apart. Khan went along with Brooks's desires to ruin Nemeth's career. Punk didn't want to ruin your career, bro. He just said, don't book him on Collision. And then no one wanted you on Dynamite either. because you're stirring up, and Tony doesn't like when you stir up. It's just that simple. On August 12th, 2023, Nemeth was finally booked for an event in Greensboro. On the morning of the 12th, Nemeth was walking through the hotel lobby to board a shuttle to the sports arena where the wrestling match would take place. He saw Brooks. Brooks immediately took out his phone and began to text. Who gives a moment after that text was sent, Nemeth received a text from AEW supervisor Pat Buck saying that he needed to speak with Nemeth as soon as he got to the arena. Man, upon arriving, Nemeth sought out Pat Buck. Buck told Nemeth that he needed to leave the arena immediately and that travel would be arranged for him to fly out on the same day. Okay, but you can't prove Punk was texting right when you locked eyes with him. Logan Paul in the ring getting great heat. Nemeth was embarrassed and humiliated in front of other wrestlers who witnessed him being kicked out of the arena. More importantly, fans observed him leaving the arena. Nah, 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 nah. Nah, nah, nah. Hey, goodbye. More importantly, fans observed him leaving the arena. Pictures were taken and the expulsion became viral on social media. No, it didn't. No one knew about that till now. This humiliation caused irreparable damage, the marketability and reputation of Nemeth. Bro, you got a juicy contract with TNA and your brother Nick, and you're featured on TV now all the time. Shut the fuck up. This entire episode was engineered by Brooks. Brooks demanded that Nemeth be told to leave, and he would be flown out of Greensboro immediately. Khan, for his part, went along with Brooks out of his deep admiration. On August 15th, Nemeth contacted AEW's legal group and complained about being ejected from the event at the direction of Brooks. AEW lawyers were themselves stunned and could offer no explanation for the conduct of Brooks or Khan. Are these the same lawyers that advised them to fire Brooks, dude? Because this whole thing falls apart if that's the case. On November 18, Nemeth wrestled for the last time in AEW. He continued to follow up with AEW's legal department in the hope of trying to resolve the situation and avoid further conflict. In a bizarre email, AEW attorney Chris Peck reached out and threatened legal action against Nemeth and accused him of employing a ghostwriter in his emails. I wonder, have we seen that email? Is that public record too? On November 25, Brooks left AEW to wrestle for the organization's main competitor, WWE. Khan was heartbroken by the departure of Brooks, his idol. Well, you weren't on TV or at the buildings. How the f do you know this? That he adored in every way. Khan was furious with Nemeth. Khan believes that Brooks left AEW because of Nemeth. How do you make that accusation? Speaking of Punk, he's interrupting Logan Paul right now. I said it a few weeks back. That would be a good match for Punk and Paul at Mania. Not a main event, but either way, the defendants have embarked upon a campaign to blackball Nemeth from professional wrestling. I guarantee you Punk doesn't give a f. You're in the company that WWE's and NXT that he works a great deal with are partnered with, bro. They don't give a f. He doesn't care about you, bro. Specifically, Tony Khan blames Nemeth for Brooks leaving AEW and has used his significant resources to make sure that Nemeth can never again make a living in wrestling. The conduct of each of the defendants was malicious in that defendants intended to cause injury to the plaintiff. Defendants acted willfully and with a conscious disregard for the rights of the plaintiff. Nemeth, who is currently under contract with TNA, is seeking compensatory and punitive damages and is demanding a jury trial. Let's go. So that was SI, okay? There were questions that were asked, dude. So Triple H's thoughts. Tweets this out. Lawyer, Mr. Nemeth, when did your career begin? Nemeth, 2010 for OVW. Lawyer, and your contention that in 2023, after 13 years. Now, I don't know if this is real or if this is just his rendition of what's going to happen. And your contention that in 2023, after 13 years in the pro wrestling business where you'd had no success in any major televised promotion, that Mr. Brooks sabotaged your career. Nemeth, yes. Lawyer, how so? Yeah, I think Triple H here, Triple H's thoughts is just making fun of just pointing out a lot logistical fallacy, right? So Nemeth says he didn't let me appear on one episode of Collision when he had control over that program. Then my contract expired and Tony Khan didn't re-sign me because Punk hated me. Lawyer, you appeared on Dynamite 5 times and Rampage 3 times over that 3 years you worked at AEW. Nemeth, yes. Lawyer, Mr. Nemeth, is it true you won 0 combined matches on Dynamite and Rampage in your only 8 total appearances on those shows? 2 shows in which Mr. Brooks wasn't creatively in charge in the 3 years you worked for AEW. Nemeth, yes. And your contention is Mr. Brooks sabotaged your career. Nemeth, yes. Exactly. Owned. Bro, you just weren't over. You're not that good. You're green as You think you're more over than you are because you're involved in Hollywood. That's all it is, right? Yeah, so in August 2023, again here, Nemeth was among wrestlers sent home. There's more than one from one taping due to concerns, reportedly from Punk, about potential backstage issues. Also, the dispute originated following Punk's return to AEW on June 17. Nemeth posted a tweet, literally the softest man alive. Boom, dude. You get a smack or you get backed in a corner and you got to deal with it like a man. I know you're pretty boy. Look it, here's the tweet. I know you're like one of these dudes who's never been pressed. And I know like you and your brother collegiate wrestled, and that's great, bro. But you never were really pressed by a dude who like doesn't give a. Punk is delusional, bro. You don't get it. He'll go fight a jiu-jitsu brown belt in the UFC and think he's going to win. So guys, like dudes who aren't about it, like Ryan Nemeth, they're going to back down from that. You know what I mean? They're going to be real scared of someone who's just genuinely doesn't give a. It's the old say, I don't know karate, but I know crazy, right? It's that old thing. Like Punk will just punch you in the mouth. Then what? You know, shoot your double leg. Great. But he's not afraid to have that happen to him either. You got to understand that, dude. So don't talk. It's just called around, find out. You know what I mean? This guy just posting full quotes here. This is at Winter Weather. The full quote is even funnier. Oh, my God. So Ryan Nemeth is a successful actor, comedian, and stuntman. Nemeth also followed his older brother Nick's career and has established himself as a star performer on the professional wrestling circuit. A star? Nemeth was under contract with AEW. AEW is owned by Shad and Tony Khan. Shad Khan is the owner of the Jaguars. With his son, Tony managed to alienate almost everyone within the Jaguars organization, including star NFL players. That's the rumor, too. Apparently, he's just because he forces his low, like a guy who didn't get drafted, and that's his specialty. He goes after 6-7 rounders and guys who didn't get drafted, and then one of them makes the team every year. And it's just like a sympathy. This is Shad Khan's kid's pick. You know, we got to put him on the team. So Tony was moved to a leadership role in the Khan family-owned Fulham Football Club, ended up mismanaging Fulham, leading to multiple lawsuits against the club. Since he was a child, Tony loved professional wrestling and had an obsession with certain wrestlers. The Khan family formed AEW to provide Tony with something to do safely away from the family's other ventures. It's the truth. Tony serves as AEW's chief executive officer. That is the truth, man. They did this to get him. They don't care if they're up to wrestling business. Shad's just like, get the fuck away. Okay, how much are we willing to invest in just losing it on my son every year? Okay, here's what you get, buddy. Go out there and get it. Yeah. Pretty much everyone's sentiment. Meanwhile, you see Logan Paul and Punk cooking right now, chefing it up on Raw, dude. Again, a promo I'm going to have to go back and watch. Excerpts from the Nemeth lawsuit. We read through all of this. We read the whole lawsuit timeline. And Tony Khan just got buried like a goof. And that, ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for AEW news. Let's watch some WWE here.